where, the point of sort of real regime change is like the point at which you actually are exercising so much power that even the Tracy Flicks are like, I'm tired of being a progressive, I support the new Florida, and because they can see that basically the old regime is gone and on its way out and will never exist again. Just the way that people in East Germany in 1989, 1990 could see that the DDR was never coming back. And once the DDR is never coming back, like, the Tracy Flicks of the DDR either just become completely quiescent, or they just become totally apolitical, or they start Tracy flicking the new regime. That's just the way human psychology works. And so when you look at, this is why sort of the transition from order to chaos is one, leftism loves incremental things. It loves to sort of corrode, order gradually, and the more you corrode order, the weaker it gets. And so every time you sort of perform this corrosion, you're getting stronger and stronger. The effect is sort of the strategic, even the tactical effect is totally different. Whereas when you see a transition like the fall of the DDR, like a true revolution, I love to repeat this line of the French revolutionary Saint-Just, where he says, "He who makes half a revolution digs his own grave." It's more like, I'm sort of ambivalent about using the word revolution because it's such a leftist word. I like reset is a great word. But the thing is that when a sort of right-wing praxis, I would compare more to launching a satellite. It's like launching a rocket. You basically, when you're launching a rocket, your rocket has one chance to work. Everything has to work completely. Everything has to be perfectly planned. If your rocket makes it 1% of the way to orbit, boom. If it goes 3 feet up in the air and then falls back down, we've all seen the picture of the first American Vanguard rocket launcher. 99% of the way to orbit, 100% of the way to orbit, it's fine. And so the sense of basically, rather than sort of being this kind of moment of destruction, and if you're destroying something, any way of destroying it is fine. But the praxis that actually works is a praxis where you know exactly where you're going, you know exactly how you're going there, you've engineered this thing sort of perfectly, and like if you're ready to do that, then launch the rocket. If you're not ready to do that, what you should be doing is rocket engineering. Most of rocket engineering does not involve going out in your backyard and trying to get the thing off the ground. It involves basically saying, okay, what does it take to get to orbit? And that's really the proper praxis. And I definitely feel like we've gotten closer in the kind of 15 years I've been talking about this stuff. I definitely feel that, you know, I don't think they've been sort of a wasted decade or a wasted decade and a half. But I feel like in terms of even imagining being able to do something like that, you're about halfway there. Another generation, basically. And if you're thinking about, you know, when do we win, how do we win, and your answer is a generation from now, you're basically pushing out praxis just, you know, a decade, and you're pushing out your praxis that far, it really makes you think about, okay, now, how do we make this logos thing work? How do we, you know, from the earlier presentation, how do we make this sort of go viral and go viral in a way that it's actually more than just a fad, that it's actually sort of a deep kind of transition in people's souls?